Human psychology is darker than most people realize. We're not the rational, moral creatures we pretend to be. We're walking collections of evolutionary quirks, cognitive biases, and dark impulses we barely control. Psychology has uncovered facts about human behavior so strange and disturbing that they challenge everything you believe about people. Here are 6 psychological truths that sound impossible, but are scientifically proven. The first fact is you can implant false memories in most people within 20 minutes. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus pioneered research on memory manipulation. She showed that by asking leading questions and providing false contextual information, she could make people vividly remember events that never happened. In one study, she convinced 25% of participants that they'd been lost in a shopping mall as children, complete with emotional details. Fear, confusion, the layout of the mall. Except none of it happened. She fabricated the entire memory using suggestion. This works because memory isn't playback. It's reconstruction. Every time you remember something, you're rebuilding it from fragments. And those fragments are vulnerable to contamination. Someone suggests a detail. Your brain incorporates it. Now it's part of your memory. You can't distinguish between what actually happened and what was suggested. This is why eyewitness testimony is unreliable. Why therapy can create false abuse memories. Why families fracture over events that never occurred. And why anyone with knowledge of this technique can alter your past without you knowing. They just have to ask the right questions, provide the right context, and your brain does the rest. You'll swear the false memory is real. You'll defend it, because to you, it is real. Your brain made it real. The second fact is most people will torture strangers if an authority figure tells them to. The Milgram experiment proved this. Participants were told to administer electric shocks to a person in another room whenever they answered questions wrong. The shocks started at 15 volts and increased to 450 volts. Labeled as potentially fatal, the person being shocked, actually an actor, screamed in pain, begged them to stop, eventually went silent, as if dead or unconscious. 65% of participants administered the maximum shock, not because they were sadists, because a man in a lab coat told them the experiment required it. They tortured someone to the point of apparent death because an authority figure said it was necessary. This reveals something horrifying. Most humans don't have strong internal moral compasses. They have obedience to authority, and if authority says, do something evil, they do it. Then they justify it afterward. I was just following orders. The experiment required it. I thought someone else was responsible. These aren't excuses. They're how normal people process committing atrocities. And 65% means this isn't rare. It's the majority. Given the right circumstances, most people you know would torture you if someone in authority told them it was necessary. The third fact is people are more attracted to you when you're unavailable or indifferent. Called the scarcity principle and psychological reaction. When something is scarce or hard to get, humans want it more. This applies to people. When you're always available, always responsive, always eager, your perceived value drops. You're common, easy, not special. But when you're busy, selective, occasionally unresponsive, your perceived value increases. You're scarce, in demand, worth pursuing. This is why playing hard to get works. Why ignoring someone sometimes makes them more interested. Why neediness repels. It's not about playing games. It's about triggering psychological systems designed to value scarcity. The same systems that make people want limited edition products or exclusive memberships. Your attention becomes more valuable when it's harder to get, and people pursue what they value. This is why desperate people stay single, and indifferent people get chased. The desperate signal low value through availability. The indifferent signal high value through scarcity. Neither is trying. Both are just triggering automatic psychological responses. The fourth fact is your brain makes decisions before you're conscious of them. Neuroscientist Benjamin Libet discovered that brain activity indicating a decision occurs about half a second before you consciously experience making that decision, meaning your unconscious decided. Then your conscious mind became aware of the decision and claimed credit for it. You think you're choosing, but you're actually observing choices you're unconscious. already made and creating a narrative that you chose them. This destroys the concept of free will, at least the conscious version. Your unconscious processes information, makes decisions, then tells your conscious mind what was decided, and your conscious mind thinks it was in control the whole time. This explains why people rationalize, why they make decisions emotionally then justify them logically afterward. The emotional unconscious decided. The logical conscious mind creates the story, and you believe the story. You think you chose the car because of fuel efficiency, but you chose it because it made you feel successful. Then you rationalized fuel efficiency afterward. Almost all decisions work this way. Your conscious mind is a narrator, not a decider. The decider is unconscious, and you'll never fully know why it chooses what it chooses. Ever wonder what's really going on inside our heads? Sometimes, the truth about human psychology is a little uncomfortable. Let's dive into some shocking facts that might change how you see yourself and everyone around you. First up, did you know that loneliness can be as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day? It's not just a feeling. Chronic loneliness physically impacts our health, increasing the risk of heart disease, stroke, and dementia. We are fundamentally social creatures, and isolation literally hurts us. It's a stark reminder to check in on our friends and family, and to be brave enough to reach out when we're the ones feeling alone. Here's another one that's tough to swallow. The people we love the most can also be the source of our deepest pain. Psychologists call this attachment theory. The very same bonds that give us comfort and security can become battlegrounds for our biggest fears of abandonment and rejection. It's why a fight with a partner or a parent can feel so earth-shattering compared to a conflict with a coworker. It's because so much more is at stake. Now, let's talk about the bystander effect. You'd think that if you were in trouble in a crowd, you'd be safer, right? Wrong. The more people who witness an emergency, the less likely it is that any one person will help. Everyone assumes someone else will step up. This diffusion of responsibility is a chilling psychological quirk that has been proven time and time again in experiments. The lesson: if you see something, don't assume. Be the one who acts. Have you ever heard that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with? Well, there's a dark side to that. Our brains have something called mirror neurons. They fire both when we perform an action and when we see someone else perform that same action. This is how we learn and empathize, but it's also how we unconsciously adopt the habits, attitudes, and even the moods of those around us. So if you're surrounded by negativity, it's gonna rub off on you, whether you like it or not. Speaking of influence, let's get into cognitive dissonance. This is the mental discomfort we feel when we hold to conflicting beliefs, or when our actions don't match our values. For instance, you know junk food is bad for you, but you eat it anyway. To reduce this discomfort, our brains do something sneaky. We change our beliefs to justify our actions. We might tell ourselves, "Oh, one donut won't hurt," or "I deserve a treat." We're masters at rationalizing our own bad behavior to feel better about ourselves. And finally, a truly disturbing one. Children who witness violence, even just on a screen, can become desensitized to it. Repeated exposure normalizes aggression and can reduce empathy for victims in the real world. Think about that for a second. The entertainment we consume might be literally rewiring our brains to be less caring. It is a powerful argument for being mindful of the media we and our children are exposed to every single day. These truths aren't meant to scare you, but to make you more aware. Understanding these hidden forces is the first step to controlling them, instead of letting them control you. It helps us build stronger relationships, be better people, and maybe even save a life. If you found these psychological truths as fascinating as I do, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the human mind. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.